Hello everyone, welcome to IAS Academy. This is Nivedita. I'm graduated in History, Public Administration Geography, post-graduated in History, and I'm pursuing my law right now. So today we are going to discuss current affairs. So what's the difference between the regular current affairs and the current affairs discussed by me? Is actually, so nowadays when you're writing your prelims examination, I heard from most of the aspirants that questions are being questions are appearing from somewhere else, and we didn't expect such question. I read all the Hindu articles daily, I followed, but still I couldn't attempt the question. So did you ever question yourself like why are you facing this particular issue? Because you are sticking to only one particular source. Most probably that could be the Hindu newspaper. But I suggest you to refer to the most of the sources, not only the Hindu but also refer to the other sources also. Like for example, refer to Indian Express, refer to the Mint, the Hindu, and also Down to Earth, Indian Express, India Today, Economic Times. Most of the sources pick the important articles. And when reading current affairs, you have to focus on two things. What are that? First is just check whether that article is useful for your preliminary point of view or for your mains point of view. So after understanding for preliminary point of view, make a practice, make yourself habituated to such a practice that you have to, whenever you read such an article, whenever you come across an article, you have to check whether it is preliminary. If it is preliminary, then you have to know what are the points to be covered. For example, suppose there is an index in the paper. There is some report some report in the paper. So what you have to know, who gave that report, what are the parameters, and on what basis the index will be given, and which country tops that particular index and which country lasts that particular index. Okay, and what is the position of India according to that report. So in this way, I just gave an example for you. In this way, if it is a preliminary point of view, understand what you can do. If it is a point of view for means, then understand what you can include in your body of the answer, what you can write in the way forward, and also try to practice, frame yourself a question, try to practice it, give it to some of your faculty and make them evaluate, and try to understand your mistakes. So now let's discuss the first most important article from the Hindu newspaper itself. So what is the article over here? Rain continues to pound North India, toll rises to 25. So I hope everyone knows this article actually. So we can see actually in news recently that there are so much of rains in Delhi, Himachal Pradesh and Haryana, Chandigarh also. Okay, so rains are in such a way that it is causing economic damage and also it is affecting the lives of people. However, government is striving a lot to take the measures. Okay, government is taking the required measures and trying to save the people. So here you can see the image. So this image is a scene at the residential area at Tunap in Mandi, district of Himachal Pradesh, following the flash floods. Okay. Okay. So coming to the news, what is the heavy damage occurred? The heavy damage is like the roads, transportation, electricity, and also water supply. All these things are being affected due to these things. So now this is a common news, like the areas are being affected due to the heavy rains. This is a very common news. But how you can read this news in particular in perspective of your examination, UPSC examination. So first thing, you have to focus whether there is any special thing over here. Okay, so here you can see very clearly that they gave 300 people including tourists stranded in Lahore, Spiti and also Kullu districts of Himachal Pradesh. So just learn few things about Lahore, Spiti and also Kullu districts. Okay, and also you can see the other important impact of this particular news. Okay, what is that? Let us see. Okay, so here why this is in news? Because this is in the rains are most in the parts of Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh. And Shirkand Mahadev Yatra had been halted due to this rains. Okay, now what you have to do whenever you are coming such across some festival or some cultural activity, just do remember that this question may appear in your next upcoming examination in UPSC for clips in the point of art and culture question. So now let us know what is this Shirkat Mahadev Yatra. Okay. Here you can see this Shirkat Mahadev Yatra is actually a Hindu pilgrimage site in Kullu, Himachal Pradesh, India. And also this is considered to be an abode of Lord Shiva and his wife goddesses Parvati. It is also considered to be one of the toughest treks in India. Okay, one of the toughest treks in India. The 75 feet Shivalingam at the top of the mountains is at the height of 18,570 feet. Okay, so this is actually a Hindu pilgrimage site. You have to know, and you have to know who are the gods: Lord Shiva and Parvati, goddess Parvati. Okay, now let us see the other news. Here you can see the second moonshot. So this is in the editorial of the Hindu paper today. What is this about? This is about Chandrayaan 3. Okay, so Chandrayaan 3 speaks to moon rising importance in scientific and political milieu. So what is this news about? So why is this news? First let us see. Indian Space Research Organization plans to launch the Chandrayaan 3 mission to the moon. Okay, so they are planning to launch the Chandrayaan 3 mission. Now this Chandrayaan 3 machine is actually a kind of replica. Okay, a kind of replica of Chandrayaan 2. Okay, you can see replica of predecessor Chandrayaan 2. And this was launched in July in 2019 in the form of an orbiter and a lander wearing a rover. Okay, so what is a lander? Vikram, and rover is the Pragyan. It is of Chandrayaan 2. So whenever you read an article, read in such a way that you are digging a little, at least a little historical background of it. Okay, and try to focus. Don't read the total background of that particular topic. Try to understand what is important. Okay, what is important in the exam point of view. Now you can see over here. This is just an image for your reference purpose. So here you can see the rover and Vikram lander and the orbiter. Okay, so what are the differences between all these things? I will explain to you. Rover is nothing but this moves around on the surface. On the surface it will move around. And when coming to the lander, lander travels from the orbit to the surface. From orbit it will travel to the surface. And when coming to the orbiter, in the name itself you can understand this orbits the body. Okay, so now let us see. We already discussed that Chandrayaan 3 is actually a kind of replica of Chandrayaan 2. When it is a replica, why we are again taking the Chandrayaan 3 machine? What is the reason? There will be a reason, right? So now let us see the particular reason. So when coming to Chandrayaan 3, why it is being introduced is because of the Chandrayaan 2 itself. Chandrayaan 2 was not that successful, and that is the reason now ISRO is planning to make necessary changes and introduce Chandrayaan 3. So what happened with Chandrayaan 2? Let us see. Okay, so when the orbiter entered into the orbit around the moon, orbiter entered into the orbit, but then the surface mission failed. Why it failed? Because the lander actually should land properly, but it crashed. As it crashed, the Chandrayaan 2 mission failed. So what is the problem? Why it failed? Why it didn't land properly? The reason is ISRO later identified the reason. What is the reason? The reason is there is a problem in guided software. Okay, there is a problem in the guided software. And also there was unexpected dispersion in the propulsion system. So now after understanding this particular issue, ISRO thought that they can overcome this issue and launch Chandrayaan 3 successfully. Now let's see how the problem is being overcome. Whether really the problem is being overcome or really can be success with this Chandrayaan 3. Let us see. Now in Chandrayaan 2 what happened? The lander could not success because it crashed. But in Chandrayaan 3 what they did is the rocket will place the payload in a elliptical orbit around the earth. and after placing the lander will take over the control, and the propulsion module, what it will do, it will make the lander to be in the circular orbit around the moon. Okay, finally the lander will detach finally, and then it will begin a series of maneuvers, and then slowly, gradually it will land. Okay, so it is going to land around on August 23rd or 24th this year over the surface. Okay, so to improve the chances of success at this stage, what ISRO did, basically when coming to Chandrayaan, the problem is with the landing itself. So ISRO thought they need to strengthen this lander legs. So they strengthened the lander legs and lowered its minimum thrust, enhanced the availability of the power, upgraded the landing sequence. All they have done is to overcome the problem which was faced during the Chandrayaan 2 mission. Okay, so now why they are striving so much, this is also very important. Let us see. Okay, here, why this is important? Because the success surface mission, which is actually closest to the lunar south pole today, is this particular one. Okay, so this success of this Chandrayaan 3 will make this surface mission close to the lunar south pole of the date. Up to date, we can say that if this will get success, then we will be close to the lunar south pole. What is so special about lunar south pole? Because this is the region of the moon that can be said as the geologically very unique features we can find over here. And also some ISRO scientists also saying that there are signs of life on the earth which can help scientists to look for similar signs on the planets beyond the solar system also. So for that reason also this mission will be very, very significant. And also if Chandrayaan will become successful, then this will provide opportunities for India to lead the world's response to moon's growing importance in both scientific and also political areas. Okay, now coming to the other article, this is also from the Hindu itself. Bengal rural elections, repolling, peaceful, High Court orders affairs into deaths. I imagine that almost all of the people know about this particular West Bengal elections happening. There is so much of violence happening in the Panchayat elections. So for that reason, central forces have been deployed to control the violence and have the peaceful elections. This is the concept. So let us give some background. Gram Panchayats, Panchayat Samitis, Jilla Parishads are about to go to the elections. And why these elections matter so much? Because these elections are going to play an important role when coming to the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Okay, and the process of filling nominations by the candidates actually witnessed so much of the violent clashes. And also few contestants said that we couldn't nominate because of this violence. Okay, and opposition parties have alleged that the ruling Trinamool Congress have been forcefully restricting them from filling their nominations. Okay, but this is not allowed, right? Because we are actually a democratic country and we should have a peaceful kind of elections, but not with the violent clashes. Okay, so this is all about the news. And why this is in news now again? Because the repolling has been done in the West Bengal Panchayat elections in 696 polling booths on Monday, and also this was conducted in a very peaceful manner. So this is one of the things. Next, National Exit Test. This is also, we can see this news in the Hindu paper, the Economic Times, and also in other newspapers. So what is this news about? Indian Medical Association has urged to Indian Medical Commission to reconsider its national exit test. Okay, so who is asking to reconsider? Who is asking to reconsider? Indian Medical Association is asking to reconsider. So why they are asking to reconsider? Let us know that. Okay, before that I have to say you what is this next examination. This is for all MBBS students in India, and which will now be the licentiate exam and also the postgraduate selection exam. Okay. So let us see few details about this. Students who receive their medical degrees, okay, from NMC, approved medical institutions, overseas students will also have to qualify this national exit exam. Not only the students who qualified medical degree in India, but also the students who qualified their medical degree in overseas should also qualify for this national exit test. So they register for medical practice in India, they must pass the next test. Okay, and National Medical Commission Bill Amendment 2022 proposed for an autonomous body. What is it? Board of Examinations in Medical Sciences. Okay, and then this gonna come into the effect. This will be responsible for holding the next examination. Okay, so let us see now the other things. Despite concern over minors booked under POCSO, law panel not for lowering consent age. By the news. While the Supreme Court and several high courts have underlined concerns over criminalization of adolescent sex, the 22nd Law Commission of India is not in favor of lowering the age of consent of minors. So simply to say, 22nd Law Commission is actually not interested in lowering the age of consent of minors. Let us see why. Okay, first let us see what is this POCSO Act, Prevention of Child Sexual Harassment Act. Okay, so when coming to this is actually gender neutral legislation. Means nothing like no gender specific, it's girl or woman. It's like below 18 years, then considered as child under this act. And when coming to non-reporting is a crime. For example, if there is an institution, if the person is in charge and if a subordinate committed the child sexual harassment, then wantonly if the person is not reporting, then it is an offence. Next, there is no time limit for reporting abuse. Even after a long period also, a person who has undergone through the sexual harassment can report the abuse. Keeping victims' identity confidential. Okay, and they will keep the victim identity confidential until the act is saying to do so. Okay, now next, twin balance sheet. And also here I'll add one more point. Why this 22nd Law Commission is not interested? Because now you already know 18 years is the minimum age for the marriage of a girl. So 18 years is also consent age. Now if they're gonna decrease the age, then this is also going to affect all other things, and also this is going to affect the Muslim personal law, and this is going to create many other gender disparities also. Next, twin balance sheet advantage. Okay, twin balance sheet advantage. This news is actually in Business Express. Why this is in news? Because in Financial Stability Report, which was released last month, the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das talked about how India is on the cusp of twin balance advantage for growth. Okay, now they are saying that twin balance sheet is actually at advantage position when coming to the growth. Let us see what is it. Okay, twin balance sheet problem. What is this twin balance sheet? This deals with the balance sheet of both Indian companies and also the Indian banks. Now, when will the twin balance sheet become a big problem? For example, suppose banks are under severe stress and they couldn't do anything. And at the same time, the corporates are actually at that stage that they cannot repay their loans. Okay, banks are at the over stress and these companies cannot pay the loans. So what will happen? There will be a problem, right? So that is the twin balance sheet problem. Next, North India's monsoon is a confluence of factors. So this news is in India today. Why this is in news? Already you know there are so much of rains in Himachal Pradesh, Delhi, Uttarakhand, right? So North India states are witnessing the complete monsoon rains, resulting in the damage of life, property and everything, right? So why so much? Because this has been resulted from the deadly confluence of two systems. What are those two systems? One is the monsoon winds and the other one is the western disturbance. Okay, so what is this western disturbance? Monsoon winds obviously you know, but let me say what is this western disturbance. Western disturbance is a low pressure system that originates in the Mediterranean region. Okay, it will originate in the Mediterranean region, and as they travel eastward across the Middle East and Iran, they bring changes in the weather conditions of the Indian subcontinent also. So how these western disturbances are being formed? These are being formed by the interaction between cold polar air masses and warm tropical air masses. So because of this, we are being affected a lot. But why this year monsoon is different then? Okay, now you understood western disturbance. Why this year monsoon is different? Because of three main reasons. Onset is being delayed. Simultaneous arrival in Mumbai and Delhi also. That is also one of the reasons. And incessant heavy rain across the large swaths of North India. Okay. Now the last article for today, export controls. This is from the Mint newspaper. Why is it this in news? China has recently announced that it will impose export controls, especially on gallium and germanium. Okay, and these two are very essential for the semiconductor manufacturing. So when these export controls are going to be started? These are going to be started from August 1st, 2023. Okay, so why they have taken such big decision, China? Because recently US said that US said that they are going to take necessary steps to have peace, and for that reason they will control some measures. Okay, they'll put some control on the exports also. But also they accused China of having so much of exports to other countries, also disturbing the peace. So saying this, China said that we will have controls from now. Okay, so let us see about these two minerals. Gallium. What do you mean by gallium? It is a soft silvery white metal. Okay, that is liquid near the room temperature. And when coming to this is not formed as a free element. Then how it is found? It is found in the small quantities in minerals like zinc ores and bauxite. Now why this is gallium useful? This is useful in making gallium arsenide, which is the substrate for semiconductors. Then coming to germanium. Germanium is a lustrous, hard, silvery white semi-metal with a crystal structure. Okay, it's almost looks similar to the diamond, but it's not diamond. Okay, so it's a kind of hard, silvery white semi-metal. So why this is useful? This is useful in various electronic optical applications. Germanium enhances the ability to operate the weapon systems in harsh conditions. Okay, so this is very important. You can see. Okay, this is important. Enhances the ability to operate weapon systems in harsh conditions. Okay, so thank you guys. Tomorrow we will discuss further articles.